The scores, for Metro schools have fallen quite a bit. The overall state scores when it comes to math, for instance, are at 22%. 22% of students are right about where they want them to be or exceeding that. Here in Metro schools, though, that score is below 10%. Below 10% of students in the 7th grade are performing math-wise where they want them to be. Now, that is all part of the learning loss, they say, that was suffered over the last year when schools like this one were not filled with students. Instead, it was empty and students were learning online. Now, the Metro School Board says there's good reason to be worried about this, but they also understand that a lot of this was out of their control.
Can we take a student who comes to us 2 grade levels behind and get them where they are? Of course we can, with all other things being equal, but they're not. And so, as I also said, during this pandemic, we had 83,000 classrooms. We couldn't standardize them. We couldn't ensure that engagement was consistent.
Now, Metro is not the only school board that is worried about the learning loss. This is something that's happening across the state.
It's something we've all kind of forgotten about in the midst of COVID-19, but the key word there is could. That's because the flu is so unpredictable. Doctors can't pinpoint what the spread will look like. But with the Delta variant on the rise, there is a potential that hospitals could be overwhelmed.
A worst case scenario is that we see that the Delta variant kind of continues to be prevalent in the state and in the Middle Tennessee area, and more kids get infected with COVID-19, and we get a flu season that starts early, and we've got a really contagious variant of the flu.
Dr. Gigante does note that we didn't really have a flu season last year, and that's in part because of social distancing, hand washing, and mask mandates.
Protesters threatening doctors and nurses were before a school board making the case that to keep kids safe, there should be mandatory masks. And as they walked out, these doctors were threatened, these nurses were threatened.
Well, this is that protest President Biden is talking about. We showed you this heated video last night. It shows people, as you see here, screaming at Williamson County School Board members and medical professionals after the board approved a mask mandate for students through elementary school. Tensions are high among parents on this issue, some for masks, others against, with no common ground in sight, it seems. Fox 17 News' Jackie Del Pilar live tonight with more on the threats aimed at some of our doctors. Jackie.
I spoke with 4 doctors today who were in that tense meeting. Some of them say their offices are now receiving threatening phone calls and messages, and they're frightened to speak out.
This is the viral video that made it all the way to the White House, and President Joe Biden isn't mincing words on how he feels after seeing videos of protesters threatening and trying to intimidate people wearing masks.
You know, our healthcare workers are heroes. They were the heroes when there was no vaccine. Many of them gave their lives trying to save others. And they're heroes again with the vaccine.
The national attention is disappointing for doctors who were there.
It's really unfortunate because I don't think it's the look we're aiming for.
Pediatrician Dr. James Keffer spoke at the meeting, encouraging the board to require masks. He was repeatedly interrupted by people against masks.
The heckling was just, I thought we were at like a gym class in 7th grade, instead of a bunch of adults.
Some doctors at the meeting now fearful for their safety. I spoke with another doctor who spoke at the meeting. He's asking not to be identified in an effort to protect his family.
I was shaken. I was very, very, very scared by that.
Many protesters seen here are parents advocating for a choice in masking, but some are not. Instead, part of activist groups, like Rod Lund, seen here in the black shirt yelling at a parent.
You can leave freely, but we will find you, and we know
you will never be allowed in public again.
Lund shared a statement with Fox 17 News, saying in part, while he doesn't have children of his own yet, he's advocating for all children and expressing, quote, genuine concern. He stands behind his appearance at the school board meeting and is proud to champion children's rights. The school district has condemned the threats, saying there's no excuse for incivility.